Welcome to Seat Time, where we drink beer and talk about all the happenings with motorcycles.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 31 of Seat Time. I'm Jason Schmidt.
And I'm Brian Pierce. Welcome. So what did you do this weekend? Did we do anything awesome?
Yeah, I had a pretty good weekend. Rolled out to Saxe with
What was that?
Saxe.
Oh, sex? Okay. Sex.
Yeah, rolled out to Saxe to visit some friends with, once again, had a back-to-back another weekend visit from the lovely Miss Wedberg.
Whoop, whoop.
We rolled out there, hung out with some friends, had a couple of beers.
Some adult beverages.
Yeah, a few. Saturday night, went out and saw some of our friends. Two groups of friends' bands were playing together out in Fort Worth, out at Patty Red's Irish Pub.
Ooh.
And
You said that place was pretty cool, huh?
yeah, the bar was cool. The owner cool as hell. So was our friends, the Greasy Cranks, and
nice.
our other buddies,
FTW?
FTW. And so kind of like a hard metal punk scene with Greasy Cranks, and then just straight up doom metal with FTW. It was a good show, but always want to go out and support our friends and the bands and all that fun stuff. So had a good time. Sunday, I don't think I did anything much.
Nothing?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Recovery.
I made up for it because my Sunday was pretty nuts. Friday night, we did not really... Tam and I hung out with some friends, Jordan and Bonnie, here at the house. And then Saturday, I hung out with you, got to see the new condo he's going to be moving into. Pretty cool little scene. And then Saturday night, we took Jordan out with Mr. Matt Davis and some other of our friends. And I think about 4:30 in the morning is when Matt told me that it was time for us to go to bed. And then at 11 a.m., we went to Vickery for brunch and started drinking. And we didn't stop until 8 p.m. So it was interesting.
Tuesday, y'all were in rare form.
Rare form, and I was feeling it all day. So there was that. So we had a lovely weekend of having a good time. That's the way we like to live, so it happens. But obviously this is a show about motorcycle racing and the racing that went on. If you were to work your way to the West Coast, we've talked about Washougal before when it comes to other forms of racing, but this weekend works. They had round 7 go on out at Washougal, and it was Kurt Caselli's weekend. The guy is just it, and the guy can ride. He puts that KTM to the ground, and there it is. He just does it awesome. On Friday, they moved the schedule up from instead of Saturday, Sunday to do it Friday, Saturday. So on Friday's race, he actually got the whole shot. He had the lead the whole race and just came away with the checker. So very, very dominating. Josh Strang actually made a trip west so that he could take part in the works. He's just kind of, since so many people have been on summer break, I think he's just trying to get, kind of racing.
Somewhere to ride.
Get somewhere to race and get somewhere to ride. And he actually rode really strong as well and tried to, at the end, he was even catching up to Caselli and came away with second.
Cool to see him mixed in with this group as well.
I agree.
Because you always start to wonder about the people, different people that focus on one series or another. Actually seeing that interaction is cool.
I totally agree. And obviously he, they not distinctly, the series kind of seem to vary. You got your West Coast series, which is West Coast terrain, and then your East Coast series, which is typically more technical. But it's good to see him be able to go over there and hold it hold it wide open with the West guys. Mm-hmm. So, and then if we get to Saturday, actually it was Mike Brown that came in with the whole shot this time, and he looked like he was gonna just walk away with it. He was riding really, really strong, really consistent. But unfortunately, he came across a mechanical and his rear brake went out, so he had to actually pit and get that worked on. And when he went into pit, he pitted at about 6th and came back at 5th. So obviously, whatever it was, they did it fast. And within a whole nother lap, he was already back up to 5th. So the guy was not a little jaded, but he wanted to make sure he made up as many spots as he lost. So Caselli was in 2nd at the time. Didn't even realize that Brown had gotten off the track to go get his brakes worked on. So when he crossed the checkers, he was kind of like, "Whoa, awesome! I got to win." Strang, being consistent again, did come away with 2nd place, so that he wound up with 2nd overall on the weekend. He actually had kind of a little bit of a crash towards the end of Moto 2, so you never know. He may have been up there fighting with Caselli, but and then Taylor Robert had a really strong, consistent weekend and wound up 3rd overall with a 4th on Friday and a 3rd on Saturday to take it. So obviously Caselli's riding really good. We're happy to see Strang come over to the West Coast and do a little bit of West Coast riding because get some different experience and make some awesome happen. So
Well,
that was the works in a nutshell.
yeah, leaving the West Coast and going to the central U.S., round 7 of the OMA went off in Winterset, Iowa. Paul Whibley was the man this weekend. Chris Bach and all the regulars were there and running after him from the get-go. Bach was putting on a great charge, but Giggle had a broken petcock and was unable to finish. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old I am or how many times I've even had to work on him on a bike. I still just sit there and get the giggles when there's a problem with the petcock.
Especially, it's like, man, what happened to you this weekend? I broke my petcock. You what?
Yeah, you should see the cast.
It's funny though because he's got that aluminum tank on that Beta that he uses for a bigger tank. I'm wondering if that was like
the rigidity of it is something that makes it kick over. I mean, I knew a lot of people that vibration long-term stuff on some road bikes, they'd have issues. I mean, metal tank, metal petcock, but usually the petcock is relocated down on hose off the line and separated out a bit. But I remember I had a hell of a time with it on my ZX7. I had to rebuild that thing several times, and I'd sit there and feel weird when I had to walk into Bates and request a petcock rebuild kit. I guess
something you want to ask for at least once in your life.
I guess the weird part of it was the fact that I'd be giggling and blushing when I asked for it.
And they're like, he does this twice a week.
Yeah, I think this is a sick thing for him because he's bought like 12 of these this month. No,
break my petcock out more often.
Yeah, well, that obviously took Bach out of the picture because he was unable to finish. Jordan Ashburn finished up with another second place, and Scott Watkins took his third overall for the series, making his way onto the podium and nice and consistent at this point, knocking out those thirds.
I think it was Jordan Ashburn and Scott Watkins, or mainly Jordan Ashburn's been doing really good staying behind Whibley, but it just sounds like Whibley goes out there and just rails on those dudes and wins, and then they just hang out and feel defeated.
Sorry, Whibley. I think you're pretty good, but he thinks you go out in the woods and rail on dudes from the sounds of it.
This isn't Turtle Creek or anything, but still.
I think you're cool, dude. Don't hold that against me.
And they all leave defeated.
Yeah, exactly.
Glad you're all caught up with that.
Well, that was most of the action for the weekend, but coming up, we have the outdoors
more
starting
broken
back up again.
petcocks.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. We've got round 10 in Southwick, Massachusetts.
Yeah, so we're going to have a nice sandy race. It's been kind of cool. The footage I've just seen of different people practicing, they've actually been a lot of people out on their two-strokes. You would think maybe that's just like happenstance, and I'm just giggling over more two-stroke videos nowadays, but it's interesting. So hopefully there'll be maybe one or two out there. I don't know, but I've seen a couple 125 videos, a lot, or more so obviously than late, so it's been really neat. But so Villapoto has the points lead. We've got about 7 points difference between him and Dungey, who's in second, and then Reed, who's still in third, being a little bit off pace. But
I hope this is the week. I hope this break is the one where he was able to get his head straight with ball, and he'll be out there and just start knocking it out again. Because right now, man, I don't want him to slide for the rest of the series. I want him to be in the hunt. I mean, regardless, he's had an amazing season, but I did
find a Craigslist ad for another 450 rider.
Yeah, if he gets back into first place, then I will get out my huge ass earrings and I will wear them for a week.
Straight?
Yeah. And trust me, that will raise eyebrows at my office.
They're like, we've always thought about you, but
Yeah, no, I won't get into the comments that will be thrown at me for walking in wearing my giant stud earrings at the office.
The bigger the better.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got round 3 of the Endurocross series going on. I've seen some inconsistencies where people have called it round 1 or 2, round 3, and all that.
It's like a lot of folks aren't recognizing round 1 being the X Games.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do that. It's round 3. It's the third. It's the third one. They got points for it. There it is. Okay, so Taddy Blazuziak has won.
That's why I always just say Taddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, blah, blah,
since he's won both, he's gotten 30 points, so he's at 60. Then we've got Mike Brown, who's still in the hunt right now in second with 43 points, and then Jeff Aaron, who's still being consistent right there in third, and he's got 41 points, so they're still close. So I think still some good racing will be happening.
Definitely. It's going to be hard for anybody to ever catch Taddy, but there's still a chance. Only three. This will only be the third race in.
More people are going to now buy 350s.
Yeah, exactly. Now, on the home front, well, not exactly next door, but here in Texas, we have the Hood Rat National will be going on. Actually, the next round of Torques in Rio Bravo in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
And the points going in are Young, Howell, and then Clark in third. If you haven't ever been to Houston, it's an experience. You ought to think about it. It'd be a good way to race in Texas this weekend. So trade in the chest protector for a bulletproof vest. Look up the definition of the word humidity and go have an awesome time.
Bring some ice.
Yeah. And if you want to condition yourself to party afterwards, introduce yourself to malt liquor.
Yeah, that's quite the party. So we did a little bit of partying here today. We've talked about it. We've done it. There's going to be more racing coming up. Lots more series starting back up. So obviously these are going to be a little bit more fun-filled and fact-oriented. Yeah, we'll tell you the truth.
Sure.
Why not? But for all the information that goes on during the week that we find out about and all the fun videos, the website would be seattime.co, where you can find all the updates. Facebook, you can find us on facebook.com/seattime. And then if you'd like to follow our tweets on the Twitter throughout the day, it is seattime_co. Yeah, underscore. Please do not forget that, because then you will find some random chick in California that does stuff for money you don't want to know about. So, I mean, you might, but still. Yeah, Jordan's in. Jordan's in. So if you want to see pictures of me from this weekend that Jordan has, you want to go ahead and email him. If you know it, then you know it. And hopefully you would like to buy a pint glass. Seattime.bigcartel.com is where you can purchase those. And I would like to say thank you very much for watching.
Thanks again. Y'all have a good week.
Enjoy a pint full of awesome.
Oh, sorry.
What?
I wasn't paying attention to your high five.
Want me to do it again?
Sure. High five in the middle. There you go.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Nailed it.
Boom, bitches.